Hi fans, and welcome to this WPIAL quarterfinal edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. Last Friday night, the Wolverines defeated Hempfield 41-7 in the first round of the WPIAL playoffs. This week, the Wolverines will take on Southeastern Conference foe Bethel Park in the WPIAL quarterfinals. We're going to sit down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak to review last week's win over the Spartans, preview this week's game against the Black Hawks, and we'll also let you see highlights of both last Friday's game against Hempfield as well as this season's earlier game against Bethel Park. All of that and more on the pregame show right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
We are Woodland Hills. This is the Wolverina. And now, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the pride of Woodland Hills football, the 2015 Wolverines.
Play action, and a sack there by Damon Johnson. Play action, and again the pressure on the quarterback Walters. He'll escape the first wave, and the second wave will bring him down way back at the 25-yard line. The Wolverines swarming there. Walters again. It will be returned by Jamon Dunn. He'll start the return at his own 36-yard line, breaking it to the near side, picks up a huge block. Jamon Dunn along the near sideline, cutting it back across the grain, inside of the 30 to the 25, to the far side, 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown, and a big punt return starts the playoffs well for the Wolverines. Motion man from left to right, Miles Sanders. He'll take the handoff on the jet sweep, and he's into open territory across the 50 to the 40 to the 30 to the 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Miles Sanders. And the first play from scrimmage is a touchdown, just like the punt return was for a TD. Handoff, Joel Shaw running right. He has a crease into open field as he tries to cut left. Cooper looking left, throwing left. The pass complete to Jamon Dunn. He'll carry it into the end zone for the Woodland Hills touchdown. Walters will punt it away. And the punt is blocked by the Wolverines. Woodland Hills will have the football deep inside of Hempfield territory. Play action as Coop drops back, looks right, has time, now flushed from the pocket. He'll dump it off to Joel Shaw, and he'll cross the goal line for a Woodland Hills touchdown. Little pump and go. Derek Caraway on the interception along the near sideline, and he's one of those unsung heroes we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Motion man Shaw from left to right. Handoff. Miles Sanders. He'll bounce it to the right, inside of the 40, inside of the 35, off to the races to the 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Miles Sanders, and the Wolverines extend their lead to 33 points. Motions then settles in. The handoff to Washington. He's brought down in the backfield. Walters, straight drop back, looks right now, and the pass is intercepted by the Wolverines. On the pick is Chris Wilson, and Wilson running from left to right across the grain to that far sideline, tries the stiff arm. He will be brought down as he crosses the 35. Motion man is Amir Cobbs. Instead it will be Jaquan Smith, who's off to the races inside of Spartans territory. It's going to be Robinson. He'll run left. He's got the first down. He's inside of the 20. Inside of the 10-yard line, he'll be brought down. He'll hand off. Smith has a hold of the left-hand side. He'll carry it across the goal line for a Woodland Hills touchdown. End over end kick by Sullivan Foley down to the 10-yard line, where it'll be returned by Washington. Washington finds a crease, running to the near side right, and he will be brought down. Hand off. Washington, he springs his way free. Still on his feet inside of the 30. He'll be brought down. Walters, he's going to hand off. Washington bouncing it left, and he is into the end zone for a touchdown for the Hempfield Spartans, covering 15 yards.
We are the Woodland Hills Wolverines. Since 1987, we've been a part of some of the most electrifying football games in Western Pennsylvania, and we've established a national reputation of excellence. Whether you're a former player, a Woody High alum, a parent, or a fan, you're part of our Wolverine family. And now you can join us by becoming a part of our new booster club, the Wolverine Nation. Visit WHFBA.org and see how your donation can help our student athletes. while earning you unique benefits. We're more than just a booster club. We are the Wolverine Nation.
Handoff Shaw, first down yardage and more. He runs to the near side, inside of the 45, the 40, inside of the 35, and he'll be brought down inside of the 30 at the 28-yard line. A huge run for the big fella. Handoff, Joel Shaw. He'll burst up the middle, drive his way around to Black Hawk and into the end zone for the Woodland Hills touchdown. Second down and 7 from the 8-yard line. Matheny straight drop back off of play action. He has the receiver down the middle of the field, and it's caught by Charlie Davis, and Charlie Davis will be caught from behind by Mac Hoots, but not before a huge pickup. That is Levi Matheny, who will keep it off of the nice fake handoff to Murphy, and Matheny is brought down inside of the Woodland Hills 15. And the kick is up, and that kick is good. Kicks it to the near sideline where it'll be returned by Christopher Wilson, and he lost the football, and Bethel Park has it at the Woodland Hills 30-yard line. Play action. Looks straight down the middle, has a receiver, and the Blackhawks lead the Wolverines on a 30-yard touchdown pass to Charlie Davis. Pitches it, it's batted by Joel Shaw. He'll scoop it up at the 1. No, he loses the ball, and then it will sail into the end zone. Who's going to fall on it? I think it's Wilford Clark with the Woodland Hills TD. The big fella with the touchdown, and the Wolverines take the lead.
Joel Shaw really did a great job of reading the play.
Long handoff to that right-hand side. Big cutback lane for John Delano. He's into the open field down the near boundary. He will be finally forced down out of bounds at the Woodland Hills 32-yard line. He's going to drive his way forward, gets to the line of scrimmage, and they will say he crosses the goal line for the 1-yard touchdown, and the Blackhawks back on top by 2. Cooper will hand off to Miles Sanders. He'll run to the left-hand side, has some room inside of the 50, the 40, the 30, the 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Miles Sanders. He'll run off of play action to the near side. Has some room if he wants to step up. Instead, he'll throw it into the end zone where it's batted and intercepted by the Wolverines. A tip ball and the tip drill. The Wolverines come out of there with it. It's Tariq Thompson with the INT. Cooper going to throw it to the left to Miles Sanders. He has a blocker in front of him. First down yardage and more. 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. End zone for the Wolverines. The snap is loose on the carpet, and the Blackhawks are forced to scoop it up as Matheny will run to his right. Now he's retreating, coming back to the near side left. He has an opportunity to throw the ball down the field, but it'll be intercepted by Woodland Hills. It's Saeed Holt with the football, running to his left-hand side, now cutting it back to the near boundary, now sliding through white jerseys, and Saeed Holt still on his feet up to the 41-yard line, and that'll be the final play of the half and the third takeaway by the Black and Turquoise. And they'll snap it to the up man, Joel Shaw, and Shaw has the first down and more. 35, 40, spinning to the 45, to the 50-yard line, and inside of Blackhawks territory to the 47-yard line. Well, I'll tell you what, Fred, Coach Novak makes Jeff Matheny pay on the fake punt after the Blackhawks accept the penalty. Woodland Hills with the football, 3rd down and 4 as the ball is punched loose from Miles Sanders. A rare fumble by Miles. And around for Jamon Dunn. Cuts it back up inside of Bethel Park territory. First down yardage and more. Here comes Jamon Dunn to the near sideline, inside of the 30, the 25. He lost the football on his way down to the turf at the 24-yard line, and Bethel Park recovers. 2nd and 11. Matheny off of play action, throws it down the middle of the field, and it will be intercepted by the Wolverines. Leaping up and grabbing hold is Derek Caraway, and that's the 3rd INT by the Black and Turquoise today. It will take a Woodland Hills hop, and it will slide through the legs of the return man, Charlie Davis, who now is forced to retreat, running to the near sideline. He has some room now, cuts it back across the grain, and Charlie Davis is off to the races, and finally will be shoved down by Derek Caraway, and what could have been a touchdown saving tackle. 4th down and 11 with the ball inside of Woodland Hills territory. Cole Rogers throws it down the field. He completes the pass to Charlie Davis to either side. Rogers straight drop back, fade route to the far boundary, and the pass will be caught for a Bethel Park touchdown right along the end line. They say that Charlie Davis got his left foot in.
What's for dinner this Thursday night? Chicken wings. Come on down to Turtle Creek this Thursday for Wolverine Wing Night at the Wolverina. Fresh, whole wings, hand-breaded and hand-tossed with 4 different flavors. And the best part is, all proceeds benefit the Woodland Hills football program. Wolverine Wing Night, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. this Thursday at the Wolverina. Hi again, fans, and welcome back to this WPIAL quarterfinals edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. Adam Gusky here sitting down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak. And Coach Novak, before we talk about this quarterfinal matchup against Bethel Park, let's take a look back to last Friday's victory over Hempfield. I'm sure you've got to be happy with the way you started the WPIAL playoffs.
Going into the playoffs, never know what seed you're going to get. We were fortunate to get the number 1 seed. And, Hempfield, they got some good players on their team, but they're young. A lot of sophomores and juniors playing, and our boys played very well against them. No complaints on the game. They played well, both sides of the ball. We did a lot of good things, and we got the rest of our varsity guys in the second half, and we didn't want to get anybody hurt for the upcoming games.
You talked about how you wanted to get the passing game rolling, and it seemed like you did that a little bit with Coop having 2 touchdown passes.
We had to work Coop. We had to get the ball throwing the ball around a little bit. We got some good receivers. We want to start using them more and more as we get into the playoffs, because you can't just run the ball against the good teams all the time. You have to mix it up with the run and the pass, and you try to look at how they're defending you and make the throws to where you think you're going to make them. And Coop did a nice job. So far this year he's been very, very accurate, and he's got some good receivers, and we've got to keep going with that.
Let's talk about one of his receivers, Jamon Dunn. He seems to make a significant play at least once per game, and he had a couple of big ones yet again in the first round of the playoffs.
Jamon Dunn has a great year so far, returning kicks. He's got 2 touchdowns on kickoff returns and 2 on punt returns. Does a great job for us. He's our leading receiver. Got great hands, great speed, and we're happy. He plays defensive corner, does a nice job there for us. One of our top players this year, and he's having a great year.
Coach, let's talk about the defense. It played very well against Hempfield. He had a pair of interceptions, one by Caraway, one by Chris Wilson, and I thought the run stop was pretty effective as well.
Yeah, I thought the boys played real well. We had 2 of our underclassmen play on the defensive line with them on that. They got to play Carlos Blanca, played defensive line 51, and Tyrell Barlow. They both did a nice job in there, had several tackles, each of them. And, that's the future of the defensive line. Both of them played very well. So we're happy with that. Interception-wise, we had some young guys in there. We could have had a couple more. Rodney Denard makes some good plays. Dwan Hill made some nice tackles. Of course, Caraway's been a solid corner for us all year. He had a nice interception. So, yeah, and Chris Wilson had his interception too. So they're playing well, and, we just got to keep it up and keep getting better.
Now let's talk about the Black Hawks, obviously a team you're pretty familiar with, and it was a close matchup earlier this season, a 5-point victory for your team.
Bethel Park has a great football team. Coach Matheny, I think, is one of the top coaches in the WPIAL. He gets everything he can out of his players. Very smart, studies the game. His son's a quarterback. He's a 4-year starter, so, he knows the game. He can throw the ball and run the ball. He has some outstanding receivers. As they tested last time we played him, number 2 for him, Charles Davis. He made some great plays all year. He's one of the top receivers in our conference. He has great speed. He also plays defensive back for him. They have a running back, 2 running backs that they rotate in. They have great speed. They made a lot of big plays for him this year. And Levi's the key guy because he throws the ball or runs the ball, audibles on the line. He doesn't, Coach Matheny mixes you up with formations and, keeps your defense hopping. They got to know what they're doing, where to be, who to watch. They like to hit the back out of the backfield. It's, very tough offense to defense. And, they played well. They had Mount Lebanon. It was 20-7 at the half, and they came back and beat them, similar to our game against Mount Lebanon. And they lost to us. That was their only 2 losses in the conference. So they're a good football team.
Talk about the challenges of playing a team that you played in the regular season again in the playoffs.
It's tough. It's tough for both teams. It's tough to play a team twice. We know what they did. They know what we do. Defensively, they're a very solid team. They're a 5-2 defense, and they're very well coached defensively. And, we got to try to outthink them, and they got to try to outthink us. Try to think what they're going to do different to take advantage of some things, and they got to think what we're trying to do. And we're both different than we were in week 2. I think we're both different football teams.
We've passed on talking about the alumni the past couple weeks, but I think it's notable to talk about number 1, Juan Price, ACC Defensive Lineman of the Week, and Rontez Miles saw action for the New York Jets for the first time in a couple years.
Yeah, I was real excited for Rontez first because he's been working so hard, and he's such a great athlete to get in and play. And I'm sure he'll make his time with the Jets important. Nobody will outwork him, and he's a tough kid. One of the best players we've ever had at Woodland Hills. Juan Price and all the guys down at Pitt, they played well. Juan had a great day, a couple sacks, the fumble recovery, which he ran for a touchdown. Just a lot of pressures, a lot of tackles in the backfield. I'm just so happy for him. And Lafayette played real well in the secondary. KK played well, and Mike Caprera played well. They all played well. It was nice to go down to the game and watch all the Woodland Hills guys in there playing well. And, they played the last 2 losses were against 2 of the top teams in the country. Notre Dame's ranked 5th or 6th in the country now. So when you go nose to nose with them, you do pretty well. I think the future's bright for the University of Pittsburgh.
Did you talk to Juan at all about sacking a Notre Dame quarterback, something you may know something about?
He did a lot more than I did.
Coach, before we let you go, let's talk about what else is going on in the Quad A playoffs.
Well, you know what? When you look at the Quad A brackets, the 8 teams in there, this is probably the toughest Quad A bracket since I've been coaching football. We got 8 teams in there. Any of them could win it. 2 of them are undefeated. 5 of them are 9-1 at this time, and then Bethel Park has a good football team. They've lost to 3 of the guys that are in the bracket also in close games, so they can do anything too. So you got 8 solid teams. Since I've been here, I think it's the most competitive. And this weekend there's 4 really good games in Quad A football.
Coach, thanks a lot for your time. Good luck this week against the Black Hawks, and we hope to talk to you again next week before the WPIAL semifinals.
Thanks, Adam. I do want to say hello to my grandson, Aiden, up in New York. Hopefully we'll get to see you at Thanksgiving or Christmas. They haven't seen him for a while. And my grandchildren in Bethel Park, Ava and Max, hopefully they're wearing their Wolverine gear to school this week. But I know Ava is, her 5th grade math teacher put one of the questions on the math test today. And the question was, which time is faster? There's a race. Miles Sanders ran a 9.789 and Ava Novak ran a 9.643 or something. Which time's faster? So there's a lot of joking around going when she's up there in Bethel, but she's a Wolverine, true and true.
Well, Coach, I hope you have the opportunity to see your grandchildren on Thanksgiving, but I certainly hope to see you Thanksgiving morning, but a couple of hurdles to overcome before that day comes. We'll be right back with more of the pregame show right after this here on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Hi, Wolverine fans. I'm Eric Schuley. With round 1 in the books, let's take a look at last Friday's results and this week's upcoming quarterfinal matchups. After an impressive 41-7 victory over the Hempfield Spartans, our Wolverines will play the number 8 Bethel Park Black Hawks, who defeated Gusky last week, 34-26. The North Allegheny Tigers beat the Norwin Knights, 56-17, and they get a date with the Central Catholic Vikings, who shut out Upper St. Clair last week 49-0. That game will be played at North Hills High School. The number 2 Penn Trafford Warriors took care of North Hills 56-7, and they will battle their Foothills foe, the McKeesport Tigers, on Friday night at Gateway. McKeesport is coming off a 48-0 victory over Seneca Valley. All 3 of those matchups are rematches of games played earlier in the year. And last, the defending champion Pine Richland Rams beat the Penn Hills Indians 42-7, and now they will take on another Southeastern Conference opponent in the number 6 Mount Lebanon Blue Devils, who earned a tough 42-28 victory over the Plum Mustangs. This game is set to be played at North Allegheny High School. That'll do it for this week's edition of the Wolverine Watch.
Again, fans, we thank you for joining us for this WPIAL quarterfinal edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. If you can't make it this Friday night, you can tune in on our flagship radio station, AM 1550 WZUM, and on the web at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com. Our radio broadcast can also be heard live and archived on msasports.net. We'll have our live cable radio broadcast on Monroeville Comcast Cable Channel 13, Penn Hills Comcast Cable Channel 98, and Verizon Fios Channel 37. And don't forget, thanks to a generous donation from the Woodland Hills Football Boosters Association, you can tune in to replays of Friday night's game on all of our television affiliates and on our YouTube channel. For everybody at the Woodland Hills Football Network, I'm Adam Gusky, and we hope to talk to you again next week in the WPIAL semifinals.
This has been a presentation of the Woodland Hills Football Network. Watch us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and as always, visit us at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com.